back to Indie Games Live. I'm still here with Ian, and now we are joined by Morgan and Barrett, and you guys are here to talk about your game, Homesick.
Yes.
Yeah. So I actually don't really know a whole lot about this game. I mean, can you give me like a little bit of background about, you know, like what the story is and kind of like what the gameplay experience is?
Sure.
Yeah, so Homesick is a 3D sort of mystery exploration, atmospheric kind of game where you're just in this environment. You're trying to figure out what happened here, who you are, and just sort of exploring the world. There's some puzzles and various things like that. Awesome.
All right, so we have some gameplay coming up on screen for you guys, which you can see here. So we're obviously in first-person perspective.
Yeah.
That was a deliberate choice that you guys made. Why did you choose to go with first-person versus like maybe like a third-person perspective?
Yeah. Well, we wanted something like really immersive that would like take all of your senses in and just like a really nice atmosphere to be in, but something a little bit off that sort of begged exploration and figuring out like what happened here. So one of the first things you see when you start the game is this piece of paper floats in, and you can pick this up, and this becomes like a clue for the whole story that we end up telling. Our game is like it's sort of about the little things like wandering around and even just the door, like you have to unlock it first. Just to help the player start to think about like the little details in the environment. One thing you'll notice is that the text in our game, and we have some books as well. It's quite hard to read.
Yes, it certainly looks foreign.
Yeah. So through the course of playing the game, you'll come across some like sort of ABC cubes that are in this foreign language, and using them you'll be able to decipher the language that is in the game, and then when you go back to these books and you look at them, they'll be sort of unscrambled for you so that you can
so you don't have to take notes.
No, yeah.
So I was just going to say it's a lot like Myst with like the Dani language.
Yeah.
You have to like write it down and like...
Yeah.
We've had one really awesome fan that already tried to decipher.
Oh, really?
And we were like, cool, don't do it yet.
Will do it.
Don't do it yet. Awesome though, but
the game. I mean, the graphics are beautiful.
Yeah, it looks amazing.
Thank you.
How big is your team? How many people do you have working?
It's just us.
You're like,
yeah.
Get right out of
We're in,
town.
guys.
Yeah.
Wow.
And really, it's just him. Actually, he does all the development. I just help with communications and press and stuff. So it's really just him.
That's super important as well. What did you guys build this in?
This is Unreal 3.
Okay.
Yeah, and we do have a composer doing the music for us. We have an original score that will be about an hour, and it's piano and violin and cello, sort of classical score.
Who's that?
That's Heather Schmidt.
Okay, cool.
It's really awesome. She's actually like a concert pianist, like a classical, and this is her first game, and so it's been so cool to work with her on that.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
It's
I mean,
been
the score is in a game like this too. Like I remember the score from Dear Esther, which I think was Jessica Curry. I don't know, it just really makes the game. So I don't know. Piano, cello, and violin sounds perfect for this.
Yeah. I think it really like brings the mood alive.
Yeah.
How would you describe the tone of this game? I mean, because the word homesick, I mean, kind of evokes emotion in everyone a little bit differently because we all feel that differently. Like, how would you describe it from your perspective?
We were going for like a game that felt like I really wanted a game that felt pleasant to play, that wasn't too scary or horrifying or like I wanted something that sort of made you comfortable, but not too comfortable that it was boring. So that's kind of the atmosphere that we went after. Actually, I need to do something else first, but like one sort of aspect of it is there's this sort of daytime, like pretty serene, rundown building feel, but then there's also you can also fall asleep, and then you have these nightmares, and the whole look of the world like changes, and what you can do in the world changes some, and it kind of contrasts with the serene world. You'll see here in a little bit.
And Homesick, the title of Homesick really plays into, like you said, it means something different to everybody. And I think the game, definitely will have a very strong narrative. There's a lot to be up for interpretation and the sort of abstract nature of it.
Yeah.
And I think by the end of the game, people will feel like they understand why it was called Homesick. You won't
Yeah.
be left wondering. You'll know by the end.
Yeah, and like one thing that we do is during the daytime here, if you try and go outside, you can't. It's too blinding. But if you see when I go to bed,
So you can go to sleep kind of at will.
yeah,
It's not like triggered by anything or.
yeah. Well, you had to. If you saw there, I watered the flowers,
Right.
and that was something that your character won't fall asleep without that.
Okay.
Which is why it sort of has that like
Wow, now
almost
you
like a
have an axe.
safety
I mean,
blanket.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the tone dramatically shifted
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
And you said you wanted this to not be scary?
Well, not
too
too scary, not the
Right,
majority
right.
of it. And then one aspect is during the nighttime you can read.
Oh.
So and if you stop moving for too long, the darkness will get you here.
Okay.
And you'll wake back up. And then you can interact with the world like in one way during the day, and then another way at night. So
So at
I'll
night
just
you
turn that
couldn't-
on.
You couldn't turn that switch
Yeah,
on because you've got
yeah.
the axe. Okay.
So you definitely need
Exactly.
to complete certain puzzles during the day in order to progress during the nighttime.
Right,
And
right.
vice versa.
Yeah.
What's your overall objective?
Sort of just on the face of it to sort of get out of the building, or open up new parts of it and explore it, and eventually try and get out of the building. Yeah.
Okay.
But that's a
And-
very minimal
Yeah.
view of, yeah.
So,
Right,
so now
yeah.
There's
the
a
lights
story
are on.
and
here.
There's a
an
story.
experience
Yeah.
that you-
Yeah,
okay.
exactly. You go on
Experience.
this journey.
I
in
said
it
one
for
of
sure.
Kyle's least favorite words. Experience. So about how, because I watched in the trailer that you have released, it's this first area of the game mostly. How
Yeah.
large is the game? I don't know if you want to
it's-
give it a time playthrough.
Yeah,
but-
I would say about 2 to 3 hours.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, and this is maybe about the first sixth of it that we have here in the demo.
Okay.
But it's not as fleshed out as it will be in the final. And like once you figure out how to read, and you can go back and read the text, like there's a lot of like lore and everything. Like you can figure out exactly who lived in all of these apartments, and sort of like
cool.
what their story was and how they related to each other, and all of that stuff. So if you noticed, I broke the
Yeah,
door
you
down
broke that
there.
door down.
Yeah, and now if I walk down the hall here,
And that made you wake back up when
Yeah.
you did that? Okay.
yeah,
Cool, so now this is open.
yeah,
It definitely circles around. Like
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
Yeah,
pathways
because
to
you
the
broke
building.
it from this side, right?
Yeah, and now you can go through the other way.
yeah.
What was your inspiration for the art style in this game? 'Cause, I mean, visually, it's very striking.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. I wanted something like really rich feeling and real, but a little bit like magical, like with the flowers and like a little surreal,
Yeah.
but not cartoony. Because I feel like that was one of the looks that really drew me to 3D in the first place. Is this like sort of magical kind of like extra real kind of look. And that's something I really tried to play up, like where like even the door textures like are really like rich.
Yeah, like the crackling paint. I mean, it's
Yeah,
very vivid.
yeah,
I really like that kind of, I don't know, the theory behind what you just said. I feel like we're entering into sort of a renaissance in that sort of thinking in games, where like I've been playing Evil Within, and like you can do things in games now really effectively, things like that, where you take something that looks real and then you just skew it just enough so that it's
Yeah.
magical and interesting. I don't know,
Yeah.
I feel like that's happening more now, and I really like that.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's been really fun, and just like sort of like playing up the small little like things that can make something feel like a little extra magical, like the little dust particles.
Yeah.
And it definitely creates this wonder of you don't know what to expect.
Yeah.
Like the
Yeah.
unexpected, whimsical, like when is that going to shine through or not?
Well, like
Yeah.
when you watered the flowers, the petals kind of drifted out like the dust, right?
Yeah,
Like, that's so
yeah.
cool. That's just a neat little touch.
Yeah, and they actually like drift across and start landing on the bed
Oh, cool.
as sort of like a little
hint.
bit more of a hint.
That's
yeah.
cool. That's really cool.
Yeah, and we tried to do like a lot of little subtle things like that. Like even the painting that you saw on the wall of the moon is like sort of like a hint about sleeping.
Oh yeah, like nighttime.
Yeah, yeah.
Nothing that
Yeah.
like hits you over the head of what you're supposed to do, but you figure it out as you go along.
Exactly.
Do you find when people that because you were mentioning earlier that you had someone playing it, do you find that people pick up on those clues pretty readily, or do you have to coax them along?
I think so. In sort of more the like expo environment, sometimes we have trouble. There's a lot of like distractions and
Yeah.
stuff.
Like at
but
GDC earlier today.
Yeah.
Or like here, we can't hear the game. And
Yeah.
I figure that has a big part.
Yeah.
In it.
Yeah, you're not as immersed.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I think we've been so lucky that our amazing backers, a lot of them have volunteered to be testers as well.
Oh, cool.
And the feedback from them has been so helpful, and it's interesting to see like, okay, what puzzle's a little too hard, a little too easy, how do we tweak it so that people, it's a challenge but it's not frustrating, obviously.
Right.
And I think people are, I think we're hitting the sweet spot of feeling fun and challenging, but not too much.
So what systems are you building this for, or do you have a plan for release?
yeah, so this is PC and Mac, and
Okay. Thank you for putting it on Mac too.
yeah, yeah.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, and hopefully others in the future, but PC and Mac, and we're shooting for spring of 2015.
Okay. Do you
yeah.
have Oculus in mind too, or?
We do eventually, yeah.
Yeah, it'll be awesome for that.
Yeah,
Cool,
it seems
yeah.
like it would be a really perfect fit considering, everything you were talking about with like the tone and the immersion and like kind of, like the emotional storytelling involved in it. So,
Yeah.
well, thank you so much for coming by
Cool.
the stream and showing
Yeah.
us the game today.
Yeah, thank you so much for
Thank
having
you for
us.
having
Yeah,
us.
it looks
This is
great. Very exciting.
Absolutely.
so much.
And if people want to learn more about your guys' project, where can they find you?
Our website?
Yeah, our website, which is luckypaws.com.
Lucky Paws.
Lucky
okay.
Paws, like the pause button.
Pause button.
Yeah.
Right.
Not like
Not
the
a
animal
dog.
paws.
Yeah. Yeah.